You know me, electronics,
Right.
history, motorcycling. What else?
Well, the steam cycle, you've got the steam cycle of the ships down pretty well. What was the sister ship of the Titanic?
The Britannic and the Olympic.
That's right.
The Olympic survived right up till 1947. They cut her up for scrap in 47, and they only did it because the staterooms were late Victorian, and they no longer sold. If the clientele had been strictly British, they would have sold. But Americans demanded better quarters. They wanted showers and hot water and all that. I don't think the boilers on the old Titanic would have given them enough hot water.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Olympic was the last ship, no, the first ship built. Olympic, Britannic, Titanic. Well, you know what happened to the Titanic. Did you know what happened to Britannic?
No, what happened?
Britannic was a troop ship during the war and was torpedoed in the Mediterranean.
Oh.
But there was nobody aboard it. They just put all the troops ashore. I don't think there was one or two people that were lost.
Wow.
Because it took a long time to sink. And they managed to beach it. The port sank, but it was beached over an abyss. So as it filled up, it just dropped off into the abyss.
Interesting.
So that's the big three. But the Olympic lasted till 47, and they cut her up for scrap. They probably gave it back to Germany in the form of shells. But the Olympic was a very interesting ship because, as I say, she was the prototype for the Titanic.
How big were the cylinders on that ship? You have any idea?
What's that?
How big were the cylinders?
Oh, it was 4 cylinders. It had 2 4-cylinder steam engines exhausting into a low-pressure turbine. The last cylinder had a 12-foot piston. You imagine a piston 12 feet? But all cylinders had a 6-foot stroke.
12 feet?
Yeah, 12-foot diameter
Feet.
piston.
Feet.
Yeah, feet, not inches, feet.
Wow.
So it's not going to turn thousands of RPMs. It's going to turn.
Well, the 2 outside engines, the propeller engines, turn in opposite directions, so it wouldn't give the ship a...
Right. Yeah, the single screw will walk.
And, they developed 16,000 horsepower apiece. And then they exhausted into a low-pressure turbine for the center propeller.
Mm-hmm.
That gave them another 18,000. So it's very economical. In fact, the Cunard White Star hates a scrapper because she ran on pin money for fuel compared to the others, compared to direct drive turbines. But as I said, her accommodations were deluxe Victorian, and Americans wouldn't put up with it.
Oh, no.
No. Nice deluxe wash basin in every room, but no showers.
So what did you use the Mercury?
The Mercury was a delay line.
And that was memory?
Yeah, that was a memory.
For what type of computer was it? Do you remember?
Oh, the last digit in or something like that. I forget the details, but I remember I had the job of filling the Mercury delay line and putting a vacuum on it to get rid of all the air bubbles. We had quite a good. We didn't have a mainframe, but we had a pretty big job over there. And then we went to a tube computer, and we had just under 1,000 tubes in there. And the chief would come in the morning, turn on the thing, and we'd always burn out 2 or 3 tubes.
Yep.
So I submitted a suggestion which got me $100. Put the whole damn thing on a variable. Now we couldn't get a variac big enough to handle it. So I suggested that we regenerate the 60 cycles ourselves. So we had a synchronous motor driving a generator. And when we came in the morning, we'd start the field very slow. And we'd take about 2 minutes to get up to 110 volts, 115. And that means we took 2 minutes to get up to 6.3 volts. We never had another burnout. We went for hundreds of hours without a burnout. I got $100 out of it.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.